9 pirate boats destroyed in 30 minutes. That's the outcome. But the story starts with 30 skiffs, 250 gunmen, and a single tanker carrying jet fuel for a carrier strike group. We'll walk the clock. The first RPG burst, the Chinooks hauling seals, the Apaches rolling in, and the MQ-9 feeding targets. Then the close-in guns, the USS Laboon's 50 cals and the USS Cape St. George's 20mm, turn chaos into math. How did that sequence prevent a catastrophic explosion and keep the Guadalupe afloat? The tactics are the lesson. The timing is the secret. Why didn't 30 fast boats firing RPGs turn a fuel tanker into a fireball? Because the first 7 minutes are all geometry, discipline, and time control. At 3:28 a.m., USNS Guadalupe ran darkened ship, screens dimmed, external lights cold, moving with more than 8 million gallons of JP5 under her decks. Lookouts called multiple wakes at speed, white scars racing in from different bearings. The bridge logged contacts. The helmsman kept course steady until the range collapsed. Then the first streak. An RPG flared and burned past the bow like a fuse. The AK-47 and DShK bursts bit into ladders and rails. Alarms rolled through the superstructure, and damage control teams started sealing compartments before smoke had a chance to spread. The attackers talked across cheap radios and flashed handlights, pushing in a wedge that aimed at the port quarter where a ladder could bite steel. They rode shallow-draft skiffs, throttles pegged, closing at near 40 knots to shrink Guadalupe's reaction timeline to seconds. Their lead boats forced the angle. The trailing line held standoff to cover with fire. The command skiff sat back a boat length, antenna higher, engine note cleaner, steering the pack. On the bridge, the dilemma came fast. Fire early, and you waste rounds at bad angles. Hold too long, and ladders hook. Then everything shifts to knives, grenades, and a stray spark near fuel vents. The captain chose motion over noise. The helmsman threw a shallow S-turn, just enough to spoil RPG lead without bleeding too much speed. Fire hoses went live over the lifelines. Flares hissed to pull eyes off sights. The citadel locked down, and topside gunners slid into harnesses behind shields. Comms to the carrier group opened clean. Threat confirmed. Air tasking pushed, and MQ-9 was already overhead. Infrared mapping wakes, tagging faster boats, and the skiff with the long whip antenna. On Guadalupe, burst discipline held. Gunners waited for hard profiles, not muzzle flashes. DC crews killed a small electrical fire and reset breakers. The ship bought 3 minutes with movement, steel, and restraint, denying a clean shot and keeping the deck dry. Then the tone on the net shifted. Rotors inbound, laser spots ready, and eyes in the sky stacking targets. Once air joined the loop, the math flipped. Air changes everything when rotors and sensors arrive. 3 CH-47s skim the deck, lights out, hauling SEAL elements split across the waves. 3 AH-64 Apaches sit higher and offset, noses hunting, while an MQ-9 paints the surface in infrared, calling out wakes that glow like wires. The swarm reacts fast. Boats split into 3 arms, a stern group trying to cut the tanker's wake, a bow group searching for a blindside, and a noisy element laying suppressive fire to keep heads down on the Guadalupe. The MQ-9 starts the sort. A heavier antenna, a cleaner, straighter wake, and tighter throttle discipline flag the command skiff. The drone drops a laser spot and pushes a track. Apache pairs key in, 1 gun up, 1 missile ready. Their loadout fits the fight. A 30mm chain gun with programmable bursts shreds light hulls without skipping across the sea. A PKWS for small, precise strikes. Hellfire held for clustered craft or a hardened boat. Thermal sights pull out the man behind the weapon, not just the boat throwing spray. SEALs do not board the tanker. They hopscotch along likely lanes, using the Chinooks to place blocking teams and a recovery cell. Their job is to stop a breakout, grab survivors, and bag radios, maps, and phones for follow-on targeting. They cue the Apaches with short calls and strobes, keeping lanes clear around the fuel-laden hull. Timing becomes a metronome. Laze, burst, shift. Every few seconds, a shot lands. Deconfliction holds the stack. Apaches offset opposite each other. Chinooks low, and outside the tanker's danger cone, drones above them all. One skiff lines up a stern shot, railgunner bracing an RPG on a partner's shoulder. The Apache slews, short burst, and the gunner folds over the tube. A second squeeze walks rounds into the engine block. The prop seizes, the wake collapses, and the boat slews sideways, dead in the water. That pattern repeats. Kill the voice boat first, drop the gunners, leave hulls barely afloat for boarding teams to mark and move on. Command skiffs die early. With those gone, hand lights blink nonsense, radios step on each other, and boats drift off plan. Air holds the perimeter. Now the surface guns can set ranges instead of reacting to chaos. How do shipboard guns erase 9 boats in half an hour without touching the tanker's fuel? By shaping fields of fire that never cross the danger zones. USS Laboon and USS Cape St. George slide into their arcs, bows offset so cones stay clear of Guadalupe's vents and lines. Gunnery chiefs mark beaten zones with tracers, drawing invisible walls the crews can trust. The air screen holds the outer ring, but 21 skiffs still push, some hugging the tanker's shadow to steal angles for ladders. Laboon's mounts thump first. The .50 cals chew through planks and outboards at 1,100 rounds per minute in short, aimed strings. At 1,500 to 2,000 yards, they walk splashes up to the helm, then snap to the engine housings. The 20mm opens when hulls stack, or a gunner pops up behind a shield. Those rounds hit with enough mass to break ribs, smash transmissions, and peel light aluminum like a can. Cape St. George carries the heavier bite. Her 20mm in CIWS-style bursts turn skiffs into spray at close range, firing dense streams that end a boat before it can drift toward the tanker's flank. The rhythm tightens. Spotters call bow numbers and bearing. 2-beat bursts, hold the line, and the mounts obey. Each target gets a measured dose, then passes to the next gun as ranges change. Range gates keep fire outside marked danger cones near the fuel deck. Helm eases a degree when needed to keep safe sectors clean. When a boat slips behind the tanker's shoulder, Cape St. George takes the handoff and rakes across its beam as it clears. One skiff runs a low device along the tanker's skin. A 20mm burst clips the cargo, flame licks, then a pop. The blast jolts the line. 2 boats veer wide, beams exposed, and the 50 cals cut them down before they recover. Debris fields grow. 9 craft vanish in that opening half hour. Others wallow with dead engines or burned bows. Wounded sailors still feed ammo and swap barrels. Damage control kills sparks, patches spall, and keeps sensors alive. Layered precision turns a crowded ring into single targets, and ladders never touch steel. The sea fight is contained, but the network behind those boats keeps dialing from shore. When the shooting stops at sea, the trail on land lights up. Recovery teams pull radios, paper scraps, and phone sims from half-sunk skiffs. Call logs repeat a single coastal grid near Barawei. Fuel chits and boat rental notes trace to names not tied to the usual clan crews. Money moved in bigger chunks, with timestamps that match fuel buys and motor deliveries in the week before the attack. That points to a compound with storage, comms, and someone paying invoices on time. If those shore nodes keep breathing, the next wave comes with better engines, more RPG tubes, and a steadier plan. The risk scales fast. A larger magazine of ammo, better batteries for handhelds, and a boat shop that can swap props and fix cracked hulls in a day changes the cost curve for every ship crossing those lanes. Camp Lemonnier becomes the fuse box. Planners fuse the MQ-9's wide area tracks with humant from port fixers and what the boarding teams recovered. Patterns stack. The joint package frames a raid window against depots and 2 command shacks tied to the Barawei site. One cell focuses on seizing hard drives and sat phones. Another tags fuel bladders and engine racks for strike. Inside the target line, the finds confirm scale. Crates of Chinese-made rifles, still wax-packed, sit in rows. Iranian-pattern mortars lean against a wall, with spare tubes wrapped in burlap. Pallets of belts and boxes add up to roughly 2 million rounds. Tally sheets list about 15 tons of weapons by lot number. Fuel stockpiles sit under shade cloth with transfer pumps plumbed and ready. None of that looks like random spoils. It reads like acquisition, storage, and distribution. That shift matters. Piracy stops looking like a fast cash hustle and starts acting like a paramilitary enterprise. Financing lines cover buys. Training cycles rehearse boarding drills. Procurement pushes mixed origin hardware through quiet ports and feeder dhows. The sea fight was a symptom. The shore grid is the cause. On the ground, A weapon shed takes a precision hit and folds. Secondary detonations run through the rafters, confirming munitions stacked inside. SEALs sweep and zip tie facilitators who handled cash, engines, and radios. The signal lands hard. Response runs from blue water to brown water to dry ground, stripping the capacity to mass another raid soon. Leadership bruised, stockpiles gone, cash routes cut. Sponsors and middlemen get the hint as the same MQ-9 that called shots at sea now watches the roads out of Barawei. Guadalupe stayed afloat. The crew lived. 9 boats vanished because every layer hit on time. The headlines say 9 boats destroyed. The truth is, discipline, geometry, and timing saved a ship and a strike group. If you want more real operations broken down like this, hit like, drop a comment, and subscribe.